Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Pi.
Hi.
I'm Katie.
What is
Why do I introduce myself every time? I mean, it's so silly.
because
Really.
it's a podcast. And
Is
if
that what?
you don't introduce, like, what are you gonna say? "Hi, I'm President Kennedy?" You
No,
just say your
no.
name.
Oh, okay.
What,
Why? How did that pop?
I
That
don't know, I'm sleepy.
I know you are
I'm
tired
I'm I'm
today.
somewhere in the early 60s right now. What does PIE stand for?
People, influences, and experiences.
It's just a reason to eat
It's just a reason to
pie.
eat pie. Yes, that was the beginning of it.
How was your week, Catherine?
It was this week has been really good. Last week was a little weird, but this week has been really good. And I feel in a very, I know this, I just feel in a very grateful place.
I know
This
that's what
last,
you said this morning.
yeah, this morning, I don't know.
Made me angry.
It, I kind of just woke up thinking, which is
Uh,
rare actually. I woke up thinking of all the things that are right rather than all the things that are wrong. You know what I think might have something to do with it is I was very excited about the Democratic poll last night. I got really excited that I know it's kind of smallish, but I thought it was very indicative that we swept all those elections and Prop 50 in
Not that we
California.
lean left in this room,
No,
but
not at all. And we don't talk politics, so sorry. But anyway, if I offended you in any way,
don't worry
I'm
about it.
sorry.
It's just an amendment. For us,
A big amendment.
big amendment. But how was my week? Let me tell you.
Yeah, how are you?
I don't know if I woke up quite as grateful, but I'm good. I've been good. I'm really busy doing nothing that I really should be doing. And although I
You mean
know
recreations and
well,
hobbies?
not recreation, but doing work that is I like doing, but nobody is really paying me to do. And there's a couple things people are paying me to do that I just keep looking at it going, yep. And then I keep doing things that I want to do. So I'm happy. I just eventually, I'm going to go lock myself up in Idaho and write this pilot.
We have a house in Idaho. That's
Yeah.
what he's
No,
not
the entire
literally going to
state.
lock himself up.
I'm
And
going
there
to
he
go
goes to
give
write.
myself over to the state of Idaho and I'll crank it out. But I'm okay. I'm okay today.
Enough about us.
Enough of that. We have a guest that I sort of know, but not really. You know
I
better.
do. Better, absolutely, but not, not the ins and outs and nitty-gritty, not, all that. So I'm excited to talk to her because I am a definite fan of hers.
As am I. And that person is Rachael.
Rachael Harris is with us.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
Hi, Rachael.
Hi, guys.
With your Dodgers hat on.
With my Dodgers hat on.
Yes.
Are you a
The
Los
great-
Angelino? Like, are
Yeah,
you?
I lived here since 1993.
Oh,
So I've lived here longer than I lived in Ohio and New York.
right.
And then, and I consider myself a big, I feel like this is my home.
Were you
Yeah.
screaming at the TV as the
Oh,
Dodgers won?
Yes, with my kids. Yeah, the final game, Game 7, Otto tried to stay awake for it, but he was asleep. But my 9-year-old was absolutely losing his mind, screaming, and we were. I mean, they shouldn't have won that game. It didn't.
I didn't watch it.
No, it was.
so-
Okay.
But it was a
And I
remarkable.
am a Los
you.
Angelino.
It was
Yeah.
a remarkable, and I mean, I love baseball. I'm not a sports watching guy, but it was a pretty amazing series, and I think for the sport itself, it was huge because I think it's sort of
It boosted it?
Yeah, I think it really brought it back a bit.
Or is that us arrogant Los Angeles?
No, I think that's a documented thing. I think
No,
people are saying,
Yeah,
like,
but I think they also have so much money in the Dodgers organization compared to maybe the Toronto Blue Jays. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like the budget
well, the
and
Yankees and the Dodgers are
Yeah.
the two, like,
Yeah.
Catholic churches of
Exactly.
the MLB.
Yeah, but also what was incredible about it, and other people have spoken about this on the internet or Instagram or whatever, is just that if you look at the entire team of the Dodgers, that it's Hispanic, Asian,
Oh, that's really
right.
true. That's right.
Black.
It's diverse.
What it is, and it's people that don't speak English that are on the team that are killing it. that were amazing. I mean, like Yoshi Yamamoto and Otani, like those guys, they have a translator that comes out to the mound with them. They pitch, and it just was like something is kind of great about
Well, it's very American and
it. It
immigrant
is,
and very, like
and I did keep thinking we're not going to talk politics, but I did. I'm in a interesting place in my life right now with the people that I'm surrounded with, and I'm sort of, and this may be shocking, but I feel like I'm more aware of everyone's points of view, and I feel like the things that I've worked on in my life have made me more tolerant of, I may not feel that way about something, but I have to understand the why of maybe why they have the decisions that they've made. It maybe isn't right for me, but it really
I
does make
agree.
me focus on myself more, like, okay, well, what do I believe? What do I want? And instead of judging others, and it's really hard
It's hard. It's
right
hard.
now.
We have he's become a friend of yours, but I have a really good friend who is conservative and votes that way and has a specific point of view. But he's a stand-up guy, a beautiful human being, and we talk about it sometimes. And for me, it is. It's just that, like, oh, yes, that's not what I believe, but maybe I don't know everything.
And let
Like, maybe my sense of this is exactly part of the problem. So if I can open up my fists a little bit and listen and be okay, maybe that helps.
Well, and isn't that the truth, really? That's really the truth, is that's what, and I think that's what everybody wants, except for those maybe very extreme corners. And so I hear that. I really hear what you're saying, that is, because ultimately that is the healing. That is it, is seeing everybody's point of view. And that's how the world, I mean, I grew up that way. You know, everybody was having lunch and then, they'd argue where they were supposed to argue. And, so
Yes, my parents were very conservative. And I mean, I grew up loving Ronald Reagan. And, and then as I've went to school, and then which was, I was so lucky to get to go to school in the first place. That's where it kind of like my mind got open to, like, oh, I don't have to live like this,
oh,
that
wait a
kind of
minute.
thing.
That's so interesting. Let's go back.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ohio, from Columbus,
Oh,
just outside of, like near OSU, like in Worthington. But and it was very, I grew up lower middle class, but went to school with wealthy kids, because we had doctors and professors that taught at Ohio State University. And, but my dad was a welder. He made dock boards and came home every day and used, that like Zest soap, to get the oil off your hands and everything. And, he just was so, I just thought he was so handsome in his light blue shirt and his dark blue pants, and Gary, like his,
oh,
like I thought he was so, I thought yeah, he really was handsome. And my mom worked as a secretary for Siemens Corporation, which is it's a tricky name too. But he, but he,
It's a different kind of hand wash.
it's a different, yeah. So they worked, 9 to 5 jobs, and
brothers and sisters?
I have an older brother, an older sister. My sister it lives in Indiana. My brother's in Ohio with his wife, uh, and they have kids, and I've got nieces and nephews, and
Oh, nice. So you're the baby.
I am, and I have 2 stepbrothers and a stepsister as
Gotcha.
well, and they're in Ohio as well. But it was very chaotic upbringing because my
Okay.
my parents are divorced. My biological father and mom divorced when I was 2, and
Oh.
yeah, there's, like,
So is
reasons, yeah.
Gary the biological dad?
Gary's my stepdad,
Gary's the stepdad
and
that you
he
thought was
was
so handsome.
and he was the constant in my life and the greatest. And
Oh,
he's
I love
he's
that.
also, I don't know if we can talk about this or not, or, like, but he's also, he was an alcoholic, but he was amazing.
No,
He was
a
not
practicing alcoholic.
he was practicing. This is, you guys,
He
this is where
He
it gets
was
perfected.
tricky.
rehearsing.
Hence, I'm just telling you, he was a practicing alcoholic. He was the guy that came home every day after work, sat down and probably drank a 6-pack of Budweiser, but was never violent, never screamed. If anything, he was the type that would withhold if he was upset with you. However, my mother was the Al-Anon, who was the crazy person, right? She was out of her mind. And I often say, and I'm an Al-Anon, I'll just out myself, is that, I often feel I'm way crazier than any of the alcoholics. And yet I love every single alcoholic I've ever met in my life.
Mhm.
Those are my people. Like, that's just like,
It's what you know.
yeah. And whether you're, you know, in
Sober or
recovery,
not
not,
sober?
yeah, of course, I love sober,
Yeah,
right?
sober is better. My first couple of husbands were not. So, it's
My
really
first husband was sober, but then stopped going to meetings.
right, so
And
dry.
he was in another program.
Mm.
But he's still to this day one of my favorite people in the world. And when I remarried and had children, we texted and he was like, "I'm so happy for you and I'm happy for like it
Oh,
was." But then my second ex-husband uh, is he's still very much in my life and I love him and we're really co-parenting well together. His partner is great. I wouldn't have a relationship with any of these people if I didn't work hard in my Al-Anon program.
in recovery.
Yeah, in
Yes.
recovery.
Those skills, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love the alcoholics too.
Oh, Katie.
Yes, so good to be married
They're
to a
so
nice sober
fun.
one. So fun. And
Yes.
well,
And
because I'm one too.
unpredictable.
We, I'm the whole boatload. So are you. We're all things. So anyway, let's go back to so you're in Ohio. You're living with mom and the welder.
You're the baby.
You're the baby, and it sounds like no when. So
Yeah.
tell
And
us
who
more.
had,
Like
so did he have the 2 other kids?
He
Gary?
had
Okay.
had
they came with him.
my 2 stepbrothers and my stepsister that they didn't come with him, but we saw them every other weekend.
Gotcha.
I
Like he was
see.
the one that shared custody. My dad was out of the picture. My biological father was out of the picture very early because he had it's just like a Tennessee Williams play. So he had a very tumultuous relationship with my mom and things ended in a way that back then, this is like early 70s, they were like, it's probably best, Tom, if you don't see the kids,
Wow.
which is bonkers.
And Tom went for it.
Tom, I think he had so much shame, Katie.
Oh,
And I just have so much empathy for my biological dad because I'm like, God, he could have really benefited from the rooms because I believe I know he was an adult child of an alcoholic.
oh, wow.
My dad wasn't like a big drinker, but it just like, oh, if
So you
everybody,
didn't have a relationship with Tom.
I didn't until like I saw him once a year, which was insane at Christmas time. So you're just like acting like, I don't know who this, I'm just going
My
to go be
dad.
with this weird man. Very strange. And then when I was in college, I thought, I don't want to be a crazy person at 35 because I don't know my dad. So I reached out to him and we established a really beautiful relationship. I mean, it was weird and imperfect, but by that time I was grateful. And then he helped me when I was living in New York. And this is like before I had program or anything. And then I moved to Los Angeles and I needed a roommate. It's so fun. Do you know Rachael Carson and Ed Bigley Jr.?
Oh,
Yeah.
very well. Just saw them.
Yeah.
You did? Okay, so I needed a roommate because I was going to move to Los Angeles.
And
So I
Rachael
went to
was
the
your
SAG
roommate?
board. I went to the SAG board, and on it was this card that said, "Roommate wanted, moving to Los Angeles." Rachael came and met me at the clinic counter at 34th at Macy's in New York City. And we met. She was already way into program or whatever. We talked for like 5 minutes, and she goes, okay, so you're normal. All right, great. So we'll be roommates. Cut to I moved to Los Angeles. I'm living with her for like 5, 6 months, and we were having issues, right, as roommates. And she says, "You know what? I think you might benefit from an Al." And I was like, "Okay." Like I just was like desperate for anything. So she took me to my first Al-Anon meeting, and I've known her ever since. And I just
Right.
Wow.
Well, that's interesting.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, kind of crazy. But let's get. I
I
want
know.
to
Let's get
know.
at it.
No, 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 no,
That's,
no.
yeah.
I want to know what happened. So, how'd you get out of Ohio?
Oh, okay. So I got out of Ohio because I went to school at Otterbein College, and that's a whole other podcast. I was so lucky. I got an anonymous donation from somebody to go to school for 4 years to study theater because I had been in the theater department when I was in high school and loved it, and it was like my salvation. It was like everything, and
How'd mom and dad feel about that?
my mom was so loved it. Like she was very supportive, but they didn't have the means to help me forward my education or go to college. Nobody in my family went to college. I was the first person to go to school. So that was a big deal. So then I got a scholarship to go my first year to Otterbein. And then at the end of it, my parents were like, well, you're going to have to do work study. We don't know how to support this. So we went back to the school. I talked to the dean and I said, I have to do work study.
What
And
does
then
work study mean?
work study means when you go to college,
You have a job?
you have a job,
Right.
and all of the funds that you make for at your job go toward
Got it.
college. I see the dean, and then the dean calls my parents and says there's been a mistake. Rachael didn't have 1 year of college. She actually was given a full ride for
Whoa.
4 years.
From an anonymous donor?
Yeah,
Oh, that's wonderful.
it was amazing. And I am like, I have to pay it forward. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to do that right now, but so I go to college and I don't know who it is. And then I was like, I'm going to New York. I'm going to play Medea. I'm going to be in the cherry orchard. I'm going to do Chekhov, right? So
that was the plan.
So that was the plan. My parents put me on an Amtrak train in
You
Ohio.
do the 4 years of school.
I do the 4 years of school, yes. And I loved it. And I got to do incredible things because it was undergrad. I didn't have to like fight with graduate degree people and learned so much emotionally about myself, like crazy. And then my parents put me on this Amtrak train with my bags and I took the train to New York. Crazy. And I had
Not
an
knowing
alumni,
anybody?
And
not
you're
knowing
what?
any.
You're
Well, I
what,
had an alumni
21
association.
at this point, or
Yeah. And then I get off the train and I go to New York and I start working at the Marriott Marquis in the gift shop, which was great. And I got to like go to shows. Like I'd go to TKTS and see theater shows. But I mean, I was a musical theater,
Yes.
dead serious actress.
Oh, I have a
Like I was
question
like,
then.
I am not fucking around.
Were you funny?
Well, this is the thing. When I was in
Because you are
college,
so very funny.
no, because when I was in college, my professor, Ed Vaughn, who I love to this day, 2 things he said to me. I mean, he said so many things to me that and my high school acting teacher, they've been the most, the people that I think of all the time whenever I'm working. But Ed said to me, I said, I just want to do it right to him. And he said, Rachael, this is the problem. He said, the solution is you don't ever get to do it right, like how you think we want you to do it. He's like, what's going to be right for you is if you trust yourself and if you think it's good, if it's what you are going to do,
Great life lesson.
that's what's going to be. So, and that stuck with me. And then he said, a while later, he goes, you know what? I think you should do comedy. And I literally was like, fuck off. I was so mad. And I was like, how dare you? And he even laughed at that. And I said, in my mind, right, the picture that I had, the picture frame in my mind was,
Medea is not funny.
I am going to do Catherine, I'm going to be Kathy Bates. Or I'm going to, I wanted to have the career of my favorite actress that's married to a Coen brother.
Frances.
Frances. I was like,
McDormand.
I'm Frances.
Yeah.
And Frances is hysterical, right? But I had only known her
As a serious actor.
And then later when I saw Raising Arizona, I was like, oh, I get it.
That's so interesting. What's interesting to me is and mine is not similar, but I've never thought of myself as funny ever. And when they cast me as a funny person, I was just like, what? And then as long as there was something funny to say, I could be funny, I suppose. I think. I don't know.
But don't you think it's because
Because we're
you
so
play
serious?
you play it the same, you play the truth of it.
Probably, or something.
In
Yeah.
the comedy. I mean, like that for me is, everybody's like, well, how do you approach comedy and drama differently? And I'm like, I really don't, unless I'm told that it's broad. But if I did, like with doing a Christopher Guest film, improvising, I would never try to be funny.
Right.
I mean, but that's kind of like
The thing.
comedy 101. But
Well, that's amazing that you were offended by that. I love that.
I was so mad.
So you get to New York.
Yeah.
And you're working. Are you having a day job?
Yes,
Gift shop.
I worked at the Yes, at the gift shop at the Marriott Marquis,
Oh, all
which
right.
was really tough because I lived at 72nd between Columbus and Central Park West. I had no idea that I was living in such privilege when I got there. I just was like, I just went to this address that these people from the alumni group were like, okay, these people will rent a studio to you and another person. And
So you shared the studio with another person.
I did. It was with my friend Tim Gregory from Otterbein, who's a wonderful actor. Um, and 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 I just remember hearing things on Thanksgiving Day down the street, and I was like, "What's happening?" And I walked down there, and I'm like, "There's a whole parade."
You know
So
it.
crazy. I was so not a New Yorker,
Giant
like, not
balloons.
I was such a Midwest ding dong that I didn't realize that I was steps away from, like, the greatest Macy's Day Parade, like, that kinda stuff. So yes, it's been educating Rita for me, like, from early days.
So it's so interesting to me because you made it sound like your brothers and sisters all sort of stayed in their Midwestern lives, just kind of continued that. And you were a little bit of the, like, the spark plug that it was not in the family genetics for somebody to suddenly wanna be in Medea and blah, blah, blah. So that's interesting. What do you attribute that to? Did you think you just kinda
I
came in that way?
I think maybe I did, but I mean, my mother loved musicals, so we were always singing show tunes. She played the she played the viola, but it wasn't like we sat around a piano like a family or anything like that. Like it was,
Like the Von
it
Trapps.
it was, but in school, when I was in grade school, we did Mrs. Reader. Again, these people that really formed I think she came in and she did a whole section on Shakespeare. And we were like 5th and 6th graders doing Shakespeare with her. And I think I was able to like be like, and screw your sticking place to like it was a safe place for me to have all my
I was
emotions.
gonna say, it sounds like somebody who was in an
See,
oppressed home life.
but if I find it because I'm also the youngest. I have 2 older sisters, but I also feel like, and I don't say this, it's not gonna sound loving, but I think by the time the 3rd kid comes around, they're sorta out of gas, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
there's not, for me, I always talk about there just wasn't
like the
enough
Dodgers in game
love,
3.
there wasn't enough attention, there wasn't enough, and, so it's almost like I had to wave my arms a lot and do and
Look at
dance a
me.
lot to get that because they were like, "Yeah, okay."
Well, you're in a similar boat because you're the baby and you're the only one that became an artist, became a thing. So it does maybe speak to I could finally have somebody listen to me.
Yeah, well, and I was also thinking I felt so secure because when I was in plays and things, I knew exactly what I was supposed to say. I knew exactly what I was supposed to feel. I knew what the boundaries were, and I could play within that. So it was kind of like I could take the high of it and and then really pull it back if I needed to. So I got to explore all these things that in my life, that terminal uniqueness, right? I was like, I am not normal. The feelings that I'm having are crazy because my parents didn't know how to deal with anxiety. They didn't know how to deal with
Did you come in with all
that
that?
stuff.
Anxious child?
Oh,
Oh, okay. So
oh,
like a
yeah.
scaredy cat. I was a scaredy cat kid, sort of. I didn't realize I was till I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I think I came out the womb anxious because of my mother's stuff, and this is a whole other podcast. My mom, my aunt, and my uncle were taken from their house in Ohio, uh, for neglect, and alcohol. Like
put, like, into child services, you
they were
mean?
put into a Masonic home for children.
Holy cow.
I know,
That's
it's
whack.
crazy, and so my point is, my mother didn't have and my aunt didn't have when they went into that home, there wasn't, like, therapy. It wasn't like somebody came and sat down with them. It was a judge and a police officer showed up at the house and said, "We're taking you to your grandparents' Masonic temple," whatever, and, and my aunt said, "W can" but my library books are due on Tuesday. And they're like, don't worry, Constance, we're going to get your library books back to you, whatever. So it
That's
was
so
like,
endearing, and oh my gosh.
And I'm just thinking, like, the parameters for neglect back then must have been really broad.
Yeah.
So, you know, so
They
that's
were.
that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
they have to be
before even that was
extreme.
before you know, Bill came into the whole equation. There was no safe place, and so it just was like everything had spiraled out of control, and
So mom was anxious.
yeah. So then, so I think we were just real anxious people. Yeah. So theater gave me, like watching TV gave me an escape, right? I remember the first time that I ever saw It's a Wonderful Life as like when I was in high school or something, and sobbing, and my family being like, what the fuck is wrong with her? And feeling so crazy, but that I could relate. Like, I was just so relieved that he got his life back. And then
happy ending.
I was like, this is crazy, but no, oh my God. Like, I was like, I could relate to all those feelings.
Hmm.
And so it made me feel so,
A part of something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I literally said to my sponsor, I'm not going to make this a meeting. But I desperately want to because I haven't seen Katie in so long. And I'm like, but I'm not going to. I'm like, but I don't know anything else.
You know, it's very interesting because we don't seek out people we know from recovery, but ultimately, you know, the conversation comes back around from, you know, Rich Roll to Rainn Wilson to, like, we
We're not
all
calling anybody
it
out.
always comes back around, and the reason it does is because most of the time in the arc from what happened to what they are now, that has been the vehicle and the catalyst that got them there. So you can't not talk about it if that's part of the equation, right? So Al-Anon away.
Al-Anon away. Yeah, and I will say too, also being in recovery for so long, it is kind of like the only way I know how to talk after living in an exploratory way, which is how you have to live when you're in recovery. So it's hard to just have that conversation, right?
Yeah, I can't do. And this isn't like a judgment. I mean,
No,
sure, I can go
I
to a
hear you.
party and meet people and say,
Right.
hi, nice to meet you, and make conversation. But I think I'm 57 and I'm just at this point where I'm like, I just get there fast. You
Yeah.
know, like, I just really want to know how you are. Like, I don't want to hear, I can deal with it. Like, I want to be like, I hear that. Like, I feel that. Like, I have the capacity and the bandwidth to like really understand what you're feeling and also say, oh, I'm just going to hear her right now. I don't need to make this about me, but I'm still working on not making it about me.
I think that's a lifelong struggle. I think that's, I don't think, I don't think there is a there in terms of like, okay, now I'm done with that. The more my experience has been, and it probably similar in that every kind of corner of life, having children, getting married, blah de blah, blah de blah, brings up another layer of like, oh yeah, wait a minute. I have to dig into like how I'm feeling about this because I didn't grow up with a blueprint. I didn't model anything that was going on. So, it's at every stage.
So you're in New York, you're working in the gift shop, you've discovered the Macy's Day Parade. And are you doing Medea? Are you?
No, I'm auditioning for everything. Like, I would go over to like Brooklyn and like Staten Island for anything, like any kind of theater there, nothing. I did end up getting like a children's theater tour, which for me as an actor, like, we like to work at night. I'm not super morning person. And I just was like, this is fucking hell. And it was like I was like a little boy. I was little. So I played little boys, like the fucking Ransom of Red Chief. And it was like at 10 in the morning at schools and auditoriums and things like that. And it was horrifying. And I was in Boston and I was like not living in New York and it was terrible, and yet I still, learned something from it, but I was like, "I don't wanna do children's theater ever again." So, I do that, I come back, I have no money, my my biological father is helping me so much with like rent in New York. I'm in the 5th floor walk up, all this. And then I have an agent in New York that says, I'm opening an agency in Los Angeles. Would you like to go? Because like literally I had exhausted every single restaurant on Broadway.
Yeah, that was my
Working
story too.
as a waiter, hostess. I was a better hostess.
Oh, yeah.
I
was
could
a
not
terrible
remember
waiter.
anything.
No.
Terrible people pleaser. I was like, I couldn't handle all of the people. So then I move out to Los Angeles. My parents couldn't wait. They were like, yes, please move to New York, to LA. We have family in Covina. So I move out. And then that's what happened when I was in New York. I meet Rachael. I move out. I'm with her right there at La Brea and Sunset. Real tricky part of town, but we were super happy. And then
And she's being an actor too.
she's being an actor and teaching Pilates, and
Right.
she was dating Ed at the time. Amazing.
Wow.
All of that was so fun. Then I start auditioning for commercials. This Gary, I don't know if you remember Gary Goldman, I think, or something over near Gold's Gym on. I don't know if you
On Ventura
remember
Boulevard? That one?
No,
Not-
Cole.
in Cole Avenue
yeah.
Studios.
Yeah.
Danny Goldman.
Danny Goldman. Oh, yeah.
And Danny Goldman was so sweet because I would keep like 3 years, kept auditioning. He's like, it just takes one. He's like, and you have one casting director that believes in you. And he was like, and I do. He's like, just keep showing up. I don't know, whatever.
And you having day jobs too?
I do. I was working at Kate Mantilini, right across from Brilstein Gray. So all these people would come in all the time. And I was like, oh my God.
Did you ever audition for the Divisec?
For the,
Divisec casting? Yeah, because I worked there.
You did?
I was a casting assistant at Divisec for like 3 years. I think that's where I first saw you. Yes.
Maybe that's it.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
That's
wild.
a long time ago.
can I-
Anyhow, so you,
So I'm doing those commercials. Then I start, when I'm auditioning for commercials, the thing that changed my life was the first time I went to a Groundlings show. I had a friend that said, hey, I'm going to go see these things called the Groundlings. Would you like to come? And I was like, I'd love to. I sit down and they're satirizing everything from Shakespeare, in the form of Tarantino film, or probably not Tarantino, but like it was probably like, like Goodfellas, like Scorsese or something like that. And I was like, I can do this. I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. I was like, this is my home. And I started taking classes and I auditioned, and Tony Sepulveda, who's the vice president in charge of casting at Warner Brothers, auditioned me the first time. He, it wasn't like he was
He
like,
was at the Groundlings?
he was a Groundling, and he also that's where he started out. And then he became, but at the time he was like in casting at the Groundling at Warner Brothers. But it was the Groundlings that really gave me a community for the first time. I didn't really have a community in New York. I didn't have a community in here. And then once I found that company and started doing that, that's when I started to feel, and going to program, all of these things kind of came together. And I was like, I could like Whitney Houston, I was waiting to exhale. I exhaled and I was like, oh my God, I found my people. I'm like, so that was the big thing. And then I booked 2 national commercials in one day. And that was extraordinary. And it was both were through Danny Goldman.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And that I had never seen checks that large in my life. Like getting a $2,000 check in the mail.
Yeah. So great.
I was like, oh my God,
Yes.
so it was very exciting. And then I'm trying to think, but Tony then started bringing me in for auditions for sitcoms, and he was like, and then I embraced, being in comedy.
You have to embrace it when they can, you finally get to a point, I think, where, my journey was not that at all, but where you're finally like, you know what, I'm just going to say yes to things because
Yeah.
I'm broke and it's not happening.
Do you know how many times I was driving around in my car in Los Angeles screaming at God?
Oh,
Like, you fucking asshole. You fucking dick. You put me here. I need something.
right. No,
Like, you need to fucking, there's a rage
we
that I'm
see
so
it.
grateful for. I know, you guys, I'm so grateful.
Car rage.
Car rage. But that was my mother.
Oh,
Mom
Mom was a rager?
Oh.
Oh, okay. All right.
She was, God rest her soul, and I love her so much.
Of
I have
course.
so much empathy for her. everybody's always like, "You're still being the child." I'm like, "No, no, no, I made my amends. Like, we're good." And now as an adult with children, I get to say, "Dear fucking God, I get it. I see. It's not okay what you did, but I understand it in a way that I never could have."
Oh, I
Which
totally
is
yeah.
everything to me.
Yes, it's so
Like, it's, like, come full circle, and I'm changing that whole as best I can. I
well,
do
it's
it
so
totally
beneficial.
imperfectly.
Yeah, it's we all do, and it's so beneficial to know what you don't wanna do, which that's what we are grateful for the mirror the what we got is like, we saw that, and then, we swing the other way because we don't wanna be and maybe we swing too far. There's you know what? There's no perfection in parenting, Rachel, at all.
Yeah,
It's just not.
just
It's
be
a
good
fluid
enough.
situation.
Yeah.
It really is.
I just want to go back to the Groundlings for a second.
Okay, go.
And then I'd love to talk about children.
And also, thanks, I'm sorry, I can just talk for hours, sorry.
No, that's the best kind of person to have here. We, you know, I'm just going back to your one teacher that said you should do comedy because he saw what I assume to be is, and this may seem counterintuitive, but intelligence, right? Because I'm sure at the Groundlings, suddenly comedy, it must have been elevated for you because it takes thinking on your feet. It takes brains. It takes deep, deep creativity. Do you know what I mean? So suddenly it wasn't like, oh, that thing people get to be funny. It's like, oh shit, you need a set of skills to be funny,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, and also the the writing aspect of it,
Right.
which I'm still say my favorite thing is taking somebody else's writing and making it my own, and I'm an actor first. But the thing about writing sketches was that that was where I learned, like, to be completely honest. I could take the darkest stuff and find the funny in it, and people related to it. Like, and it's a very dark, I have a very dark sense of humor, which I love, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that. You know
Absolutely,
what I
to
mean?
him
Like,
for sure.
my brother and I, my dad, when our stepdad died, he was so tall and in a tiny house in Ohio, and, like, they came to take him out, like, on a stretcher, and they couldn't get through the halls because they were so narrow because the house was built,
To
and
fold them?
yeah. Oh my God, Kurt. Yeah, and so my brother and I, we see and also they pull up in a minivan because it's a very small town in Ohio. They pull up in a minivan and we were like, "This is not gonna" we're like, "This is bad." And Jack and I start snickering anyway. And and I go, this is not gonna go well." And the guys get out and it's literally a guy that's like 6'4" and a guy my height, like 5 foot. And we were like, "What is happening?" And they go in, they try to put him on the stretcher, and then we realize it's gonna happen. My brother and my sweet ex-husband, they run in and they're like, "Well, we're just gonna have to carry him out." And my dad is like 6'4", and he wasn't I mean, it was crazy. So they pick him up and he's heavy and it's these two guys. My ex-husband's standing there and my brother sees them go around the corner and they accordion him and my brother dives in like he's, like he's
Catching.
like yeah, like he's catching like he's diving into third base or something and he gets his torso and pushes it up and I'm standing there and I've told everybody in the house to like go to the backyard because like my whole family's there and Jack comes out, I see him looking at me, and we start laughing so hard, and my ex-husband, who isn't dark like us or whatever, he just looks at me and he goes, "This is awful that we are sitting there dying laughing," but we're like, he would think it was funny.
Yeah.
He's laughing with us right now, but
Well,
it
he's
was
folded
like,
up in the minivan
oh
at
my
that point.
God, it was
Oh man.
Sorry about that.
so can you imagine
His
just like,
legs.
We
oh
get
my
it.
gosh, we just were like,
That's
"Dad."
pretty funny. So anyway, so you have a dark sense of humor, and that
So dark.
helped writing sketches, I'm sure. That's what you're saying. So
Well, you could write your experience.
It was
that's a pretty funny
and it was a
story.
safe it was like, all those Groundlings, we were like, "Oh god, I wanna hear your story, tell it." Like, it just like we couldn't people got so much rage out on that stage, like, just I mean, not in an abusive way, but just, like, finding
Comedy is an angry
Yes.
there's there's a lot of it's like, what is it they say about comics? Like, the angriest people actually,
They're
and,
just they have some issues, a
They
lot of
have
them.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
some
yeah,
of
yeah.
them, and,
Yeah, but if you can it's like if you can
if
harness
you can
it,
harness it and
right?
channel it and all that, yeah.
Yeah, and still wow. I mean, but my kids, that's been the greatest
Yeah, let's talk about
teacher.
that a little bit. Let's talk about
Oh,
so you have no, because I remember having conversation with you years ago about your desire to do that,
yeah,
and you
but I
weren't
was
sure.
terrified.
Well, you were terrified, but I think you were also like you weren't sure you were gonna meet the guy to do that with?
Yes, I remember okay, I remember a conversation I had with you because I was like, "I'm 40," or I don't know, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna ever meet anyone again," and you had just met him, or you guys had just gotten married, and I was like, "Am I gonna be too old?" That's so crazy now at 57, I'm like, "Fuck that, I was such a baby." Like, I'm, like, having the greatest sex of my life in my 50s, it's like, "What the fuck?" But you said to me, you're like, "Oh my god, no. Rachel, it's fine. You'll find somebody, and it's totally hot," and I thought, "You're nuts."
Were
I
we
thought,
talking
"It's
about
never gonna
sex?
happen." We were talking about meeting someone
Right,
when you're older
right.
and meeting somebody that can meet you where you're at.
Uh-huh. Because I met him when I was 47. Yeah,
And I think
right.
that I was maybe I hadn't met my first husband,
I don't know. I wanna say you were in something that you were not sure about.
yeah,
It was something like
it
that.
might have been with my first.
Whatever it was, and the clock was ticking, and should I, shouldn't I, blah, blah, something
Mhm.
like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And, yeah. So, but it kind of I tell my girlfriends all the time this because well, and also our daughter, our 31-year-old, that, y there are many ways to have children, and you can't I mean, like, I had a child with a surrogate at 52, and you had your children, you
At,
know
like, 48 and 50.
right. So, you know, who that's the world we live in now, and I think at that time when we were speaking, because 'cause I'm older than you, that maybe we were in process of doing that? I don't remember exactly, but whatever it was.
I don't know, I just remember you giving me such hope, and I've watched you guys from afar, for many years, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they're." And I'm not, like, saying I know how hard marriage is, obviously, but I was like, I was like, I'm just so happy that you guys have done the work, and or I don't know what it is. I'm not saying, it's like the worst thing when people are like, "You guys figured it out." No, I'm just saying.
You know what we did? We stayed.
Well, and that's the thing, like, but I've had that fear, like, why didn't I stay? And I know that the reasons that I didn't with my second marriage too were valid and well thought out and talked about with
Many
sponsors
therapists
and therapists and people, and I'm seeing it now how grateful I am that he's with the person that he's with and that I'm alone, but I'm back to that place now where I'm like, I will never meet anybody ever again.
oh, that's so and I will tell you again, that's so not true.
It's real daunting. And but I know that
Do you
that's
put
not
yourself
helping.
okay, let's talk about dating. Do you put yourself out there?
Kind of.
Kind of? What does that mean? Like
Well, because I have the 7 and the 9-year-old.
right.
What? I just
That's kind
said
of
that,
full
like,
time.
that's so weird. I have my kids half the time, so every other weekend, I'm free, but when I have them, I wanna be with them, and the only time that I'm not is if I'm working or if I have like, I don't get a sitter for a date, which is probably not great, but I'm like, I dated someone for a year
Yes.
that was, amazing, but also I'm attracted to people that are very dynamic, that are very successful. And only down the road did I realize that this person is, really involved in their career and it's it's
That's
going
they're
to be
married
his
to that.
way or no way and not really able to, it wasn't that he wanted me plus my children. It was he wanted me And even then, he was very paranoid that I was seeing other people. And I remember at one point saying to him, I am 56 years old or 55 years old. I'm not looking for random dick.
Right.
I'm committed to you. And I don't know what all this paranoia is about, but look at me. I mean, I am adorable. I am sexy as fuck. I get it. But all the things, but I'm like, but I'm also, I have 2 children and I'm terrified of, I can't fuck anybody. I can't cheat on somebody else. I don't have the capacity to handle it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
Totally.
I'm sitting
Absolutely.
here like cutting for you guys. Like, I can't, like, it's just, it's not
Well,
in my DNA.
he was not interested in the kids? Is that kind of there too?
I think it was, I
'Cause
think it
that's
was
hard.
that. I think it was, I think he really, I think, yeah, I think he still really loves me, but I don't think we could be together. My point is, I want to find somebody that is sober, probably that I can speak this language with.
Well, that's
And that is,
what's worked for us.
yeah, that is interested in, that understands how difficult it is to have, to be with a woman and, but also rewarding to be with somebody who has 2 kids that are 7 and 9. Like, it has to be that person
Well,
that's like,
he came in when mine were 6 and 5 and 3, 4, 6 and 4. I came with a whole full package
dude,
and was very clear, like, you know, I have I'm a package deal, and
yeah, because I don't ever wanna be like, "Well, it's me, and I've got these
no,
kids."
you shouldn't.
It's so, like, for them, I'm like, "Oh my god, they're my favorite things I've ever done."
Right.
Like,
No.
they're
There's people
hilarious, and Henry's on the spectrum and has ADHD, but it's his fucking superpower, I'm sorry. It makes him
we know all
incredible.
about that stuff.
Oh.
We have
Because I'm moving in.
Yeah.
So,
No,
give me a place in a
we're
guest
all
house.
medicated.
yeah,
Everybody
no.
in this house is
And I
medicated,
will
even
tell
our
you,
dogs.
I would tell you, it is a superpower, and
And we're watching
we're
our
watching
youngest
we're watching it
superpower it.
watching it happen in college right now.
Oh! See?
Yeah.
See,
See,
I just,
there is, the brain, this is what I'll say about the brain, which I always remember is pliable. The brain changes as we grow, and you're not really fully formed till you're what, 27 or 28? So,
67.
67. I'm gonna say
That's
57.
that's my
I'm gonna say not even. I'm gonna say I'm not quite there yet, but yeah, like, I think that's the thing with my kids I've had to learn to regulate with Henry. I'm sorry, I get choked up every time I talk about them.
that's why the person who's gonna come into your life is gonna want
yeah,
that.
and here's what I would say too is that like I was at an age, I'm a little younger than her, but I was at an age where I was like, you know, chances are whomever I'm with is either um, really going to want children or most likely already has children, and so when we met, and and the thing that for me the hook was, I learned and I don't say this the way it's going to sound, but I learned how a mother was supposed to have a relationship with children through her, because I didn't have that. I mean, my mom did the best she could, but all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, that's what it's supposed to be like. Those kids fucking love her and she loves them. This is amazing." And that wasn't until then that I was like, "All right, maybe I can do this." Like, cause I have a coach now, right? And, but so that was, to your point, it's not an appendage, it's you get this too.
It's a benefit. It's a bonus.
Yeah.
And, but this is what I will say, I'm Kurt is in recovery and is really in recovery. I mean, he's not just like talking about it. And, we've both gone through periods in our recovery
Oh,
where
yeah.
we're not as in,
I've had a
and
lot of
he's had a lot of
I've had a
bottoms
lot of bottoms over.
in
Way
recovery.
more than I ever did prior to, because I didn't really have anything prior to.
But so the benefit though of being with someone like that, because you said I'd love to meet a sober person, is there is this commonality between us that's it's a common it's just the way we communicate
We get
and
there quicker.
we get there quicker.
Yeah.
There's not that we haven't had buckets of shit. We definitely have. But, even at the beginning when the kids were we just came from the same place. So maybe that's where you need to be.
Yeah, maybe
You
I just
find
need
a
to get a
ex
lot
fucked
of
up
open
one.
AA meetings. I'm kidding.
A recovered mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I just feel like that life is messy. And the more you can kind of
You're going to end up with
own
an
that.
alcoholic anyhow.
Yeah,
You know
know.
we
that.
love them. So
I know.
so
That's
find a recovered one.
and that, you know what? It's so funny that my sponsor and like one of my one of her other sponsees, like my sister's mom, whatever, is this woman Gail that I love, and she's in her 70s, and my sponsor both were like, I said they really taught me how that it's okay for me to love an alcoholic.
Oh, that was the first thing I heard when I got there.
And it's I don't know, and I tell that to like people that are in newly sober or whatever. I always say to them, "Oh my god, I love you so much. Like you're my favorite people, and it doesn't matter if you're sober or not sober." I mean, honestly, I'm not going to accept bad behavior, whatever. But that was such a great thing for me with Gail, because Gail has been with her husband forever. Hope Gail doesn't mind that I'm using her real name. But and they worked it out. Like they have separate houses and all these great things that I never would have thought of as a tool or a way for them, to make it work. And it's just like having people that go, how can we make this work? How not even make it, but how does this work best for us?
Right. No, it's really for us. It's exactly right.
And
And us for you is your 3 people. Period.
yeah.
And nothing to be shy about. They're the benefits, just like Kurt said. They
Yeah.
are the bonuses.
So I think that's why I was even in that relationship, was to kind of shine a light on myself. Like you can't you can't treat them as like your kids
Well,
half the time.
yeah, he couldn't see them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that wasn't, no, that's never going to be okay.
Well, the difference with us was that their dad was in a rough way. And so it wasn't like a 50-50 custody situation.
Oh yeah. So they were with you
They were
all the
with me
time.
most of the time. So it was sort of that way. I mean, for us to be alone, I'd have to go to his apartment and, drive home in the middle of the night because
Yeah.
I didn't want him to meet them. I was like,
Yeah.
not till
Yeah. Not in the beginning. Not
yeah,
until
not
I
till
know.
I know. But yes, there's always hope and possibility. Don't you feel that? I mean, really, life is so, interesting, and it's just kind of, I think that's why I woke up grateful this morning. I just sort of felt like, wow, look at life. Life is so great. I mean, truly, and I don't know what's going to happen next, and that's okay. But we're going to have our third segment here. This is where we bring out
Yeah.
the pie of your choice.
It was apple. I'm so
Apple.
excited. Are you guys gonna eat it too?
Absolutely.
Oh, thank God.
So you get to tell us first, like,
Okay.
why it was apple,
Okay.
and then you get to tell us like anything.
Yeah, this is the hype section.
This is the hype part. Like if you're on something,
You're
doing
working on
or
something.
watch
Okay.
me on this.
There's something you want to hawk.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna hawk a lot right now.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna hawk so much merch. No, I don't have any merch.
No merch?
But
No.
first, why apple?
Okay, for that. Okay, I love apple pie. It reminds me of Ohio. We made apple pies when I was a kid. My mom, we would bake apple pies. So she did some really great things as well. No, I love her. And I think I just like that it's simple.
Yes.
I don't like a lot of dairy. This is me now. I
Okay.
don't do a lot of dairy and a lot of
Creams and stuff. Yeah.
But there's just something like so good. Like I love like an apple crumble. So this kind of just basic this. I mean, like what are your favorite apple pies? If you had to pick
I'm
one.
a fruit pie guy. I mean, sometimes like a Boston cream is amazing or whatever, but
Or key lime.
I like key lime. I like a good sour cherry pie.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Sour
yeah.
cherries.
Yeah.
That's our go-to for
That's right,
And
yeah.
when
holidays.
Rain was on, I had never had Marionberry.
Come on. Of course he had like Marionberry.
And
He did.
He did.
I-
And I had never had it before, and it was sort of tart. It
Did
was
we
really
find?
good.
Didn't
Did
we
you?
have?
Oh, is it?
I think we did find it.
We did find it.
We did find
He
one.
wanted just rhubarb, and we couldn't find just rhubarb. We could only find strawberry and rhubarb. So his second choice was Marionberry, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I'd never had it before.
Really good.
I grew up on rhubarb pie.
On which?
On rhubarb pie.
Yeah. Oh,
in
yeah.
Ohio,
I love
yeah.
rhubarb pie.
I can't
I
tell you the
love
last time I
rhubarb.
had it. But anyway, but what was your favorite pie, Katie? Or do you have
What's
a
our
favorite pie?
favorite? I mean, I think cherry.
Yeah,
I would
you
say
like
I
fruit,
always
yeah.
like the cherry pie
Yep.
too. But I'm a dairy person. I love ice cream. Actually, our latest is gelato. We're like, we just got back from Italy when, like 2 months ago, a month ago,
Bars.
and we ate gelato every day. So now we're like, we're still a little strung out.
Yeah, sugar.
I
Mhm.
know. I know.
So
That's a whole other podcast.
it is.
So tell us
Mhm.
what's happening, like what work-wise.
Well, work-wise, honestly, with the strikes and with
Yeah.
and the way everything's gone, it's been incredibly slow. And I say that with esteem and knowing that I feel like it's it's like that thing is like, is it Memorex or is it me? I'm like, oh no, it's Memorex. It's not me. But I have 3 independent features that are in the can that they're editing right now, so hopefully that happens. And then I do have an animated series that's coming out on HBO and Adult Swim that is so fucking funny.
What is
Wow,
it?
yeah.
Can you tell them what it is?
I think I'm gonna tell you guys, but I don't know if they haven't announced it yet.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's
I don't want to get you in trouble.
okay.
But can you tell
But
us
it's so
about any
fun.
of the features?
Um,
Was there announcements on any of that?
yes, there was. There's this one called Going There. First time director. I can't remember his name right now. So sorry, you guys. I'm
I get
the worst. The worst actor. It's about like this going to like their birthright thing. They're a Jewish family and they're going to their birthright. It's like a birthright camp and shenanigans happen. And I play a Jewish mom in this. You guys, I
can see it. You can do that.
I can do that. And I did it.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I'm only going to do this as long as this film understands that I am the whitest non-Jewish person on the planet. And they're like, we get it. We love you. And Patrick Warburton played my husband, which was hilarious. And he was like, I'm only going to do this if you guys know that I have nothing, not a speck of Jewishness in me. And he was like a quarter Jewish. Anyway, so that was fine. And then there's another film that I'm doing with Kevin Dunn, who Nora Dunn's brother, with this Jay Silverman, this director for years, whatever. But these are all like quirky independent films. And I did a really fun Star Trek episode that was amazing.
Oh,
Which
fun.
one? Which series?
It's called Strange New Worlds. It's with Kiva Goldsmith, and he was there the whole time, which was ridiculously fun. I'm just going to talk about it because I can't wait to tell you guys about it. But it was the entire crew besides Ethan Peck, who plays Spock, is turned into Jim Henson puppets. And so I go up and I'm like the female captain of another ship. And I'm green. I'm a pirate. And in that universe, women are in charge. So that was fucking amazing. So we go in and we overtake the ship because we realize it's Muppets. And then I do the entire episode opposite all the performers, the puppeteers.
Wow.
They call them performers, not puppeteers.
That show
Wow.
is like
It was ridiculous.
I haven't seen this
no.
show.
This show is it has the sense of humor and the broadness with amazing actors and writing that the original series had. Like everything
I didn't even
else-
know that.
Everything, in my opinion, because it's like with each new series, and it became more serious and more dramatic and blah blah blah. And finally, they just reached a point where they're like, "Hey, this show was slightly absurd and campy initially, and that's why it was amazing." And they kind of went full circle, and that's why that show. It's not that it's campy, but
No.
the storylines are broad.
Yes.
They're not afraid to make fun of themselves. They don't
Oh,
take
that's good.
themselves and I forget the gentleman's name who's the lead is really well cast.
Oh, he plays it's not Kirk, it's another captain.
Yeah,
It's a
he
different-
plays Pike, Captain
Yeah,
Pike,
Captain Pike.
who was Kirk's predecessor.
And I'm so sorry. I
Yeah,
forget.
he's really good,
It's like
really
his
great
first
actor,
name begins with an A.
and he handles the drama,
He's
and
amazing.
he's great. He's funny, but it is it's a really it's a very refreshing turn on that IP. And Akiva is sort of
And he was there the whole time, and it was such a honor and a privilege to get to do that with them and be
with all the
And be
fucking
green?
mothers.
Did you have to
be
wear all like, be all green?
No, it was great. I looked like I had, like I had a green face, I had black hair. It was so fun. I got to be a pirate and, like, and complete badass, and then I was in, like, what was like a cat lady. A leather suit with, like, super high boots, and it was like a callback to these hot green ladies.
Yes, on the
And
original,
so
yeah.
I was, like, so
That Kirk was
excited.
always fucking.
Yes, yes. And so and Ethan Peck and I had so many things, but it was really fun because I don't know if you know Joe Latruglio, hilarious actor. He was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's been in a million things, and he was like my manservant, like the guy that was with me all the time, and I was constantly telling him to calm down. You know, like but it was so fun, and it just was. I've been saying that I'm like, why can't there be a woman that's in her 50s or early 60s that's a superhero that we're not like, oh, she's a superhero, but she's old. Why can't she just be like a strong as fuck woman that is just that? Do you know? So I was like trying to get a meeting. I know James Gunn from a lot, whatever. But I think that is like, I'm like, come on, we don't have to like make it that she's old.
No, 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 no.
Like, if she's an exception. I'm like, oh, we're fucking strong now. Like,
Right.
we're whatever. Yeah. So I'm really big into this whole midlife thing where
Love
it's like
that.
we should be shouting it from the fucking
Oh, yeah.
rooftops.
No, no,
Anyway,
we
um,
are. Just
we
by
are.
being just by, you know,
But she's never been hotter,
Never.
right?
so sweet.
Yes.
Thank you. And I just played, well, she was old. I played a 140-year-old, or was it 140? What I'm on One Piece, which is the big the live action. I'm in the
Anime
second
for
season.
Netflix.
And I played this very hot 140-year-old doctor who's wearing leather
Yeah,
so
purple leather
purple
pants,
leather
yeah.
rock suit. I mean, whatever it was. But, you know, but you're right. They did emphasize, but I guess the character from the IP was old. So they had to, but she didn't look old, like, even though she had long gray hair, big bitchin' wig. It was so awesome. But I hear you. No, I don't think that age should have.
Not where we're at now. And I'm not saying like, come on, man. It's not like that. I'm saying that's where we're kind of what we've evolved to just
Right.
by learning about that you need to be strong.
Great.
Like you have to have muscles that increases your bone density.
That's right.
That
Exactly.
helps with your hormones. Like
Right.
it's like
And that you get on the other side of the change, which, like, the change. I can't even believe I said that.
no,
That's
no,
so
but it's okay.
old.
No, but
The
that's what I mean. Like you mean
menopause,
great, right?
you know, you get past that,
Or
and there's a new sort of strength that happens, I
Yeah.
believe. That's been my
I
experience.
remember my stepdad used to say when my mom was having like a hard time or something, he's like, well, you know what? Mena's visiting. Like so derogatory. But
I know.
now I laugh at it because I was like, oh yeah, Mena. Like if anything, like if we get brain fog or whatever, I'm like, yeah, it's Mena.
It's Minna.
But it's just, but yeah. So anyway, the whole Star Trek thing.
That's awesome.
That's
That
great.
makes me so
Fun
happy.
because the character wasn't necessarily old either. Do you know, or like older.
Right. I
But
know. Or, you know, maybe the hit on older is really to embrace. You will never not have it in a category, really.
right?
But I just think the trope of older
Yeah.
In
is
terms of its
evolving and
limitations, you
changing,
mean.
and
Yeah, yeah.
limitations. It's like, I mean, even look
Mature.
at
It's like it's
Helen
like a
Mirren.
mature woman, but it's
Helen
like
Mirren is hot. I mean,
yes.
totally hot, and
Yeah.
so's, you know, women in their 80s or, you know. So I don't know that we get to change that the superhero is older, but maybe we define older differently.
Well, I think like she's wiser or has a wisdom
You know,
Or
did you
that's
just read?
or not
That's so
accept
funny you said that. I just read this article this morning. Cher did an interview, who's 79 years old, and the person, the interviewer said, "Well, don't you find age wiser?" She goes, "No, I'm fucking stupid. I'm not wiser." I mean, she was but I do love Cher. I
yes.
love Cher. And so she doesn't go with even the trope of wiser. She's more like, I'm just knocking around with my 30-year younger boyfriend and we're having a great time.
Well, we also look at men, like, we're like, "Oh, they're so hot." Like, they get better looking with age. I know that I'm better looking now than I was in my 30s. And that's not being
No, we hear you.
conceited. I'm just like, "Oh, but it's also I like who I am so much more. I
Yeah.
know who I am." And, but
This is why you'll find a partner. You will find a partner.
okay, I believe you. I believe you. But I also yeah.
You will. Because
You
you look
do you see,
beautiful.
like,
Yeah.
the fear, though? I'm like,
No.
"I believe you."
I believe you. Fuck.
And then I wanna take the control back. I'm like, I don't believe the guy's really
Can't
gonna do
believe
it."
No, but I think this was
So great.
fabulous. It was
Yes.
so great. It was so great. Thank you, and so sweet and so
Honest.
honest, man. So thank you.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
We appreciate
Yeah.
it.
No, I love your podcast. I love the
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.